Now that we know Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the presumptive nominees for their respective parties in the 2024 presidential election, let's take some time out to piss off some Republicans, shall we? Not only am I going to piss off Republicans in MAGA by showing them what Bidenomics has done over the last couple of years, I'm going to use MSNBC to do it.
Don't you start with me. Don't start!
Kid, come on, cut it out.
Let's start with the GDP, the gross domestic product. And exactly what is the gross domestic product and how has it fared over the last couple of years?
It's the size of the U.S. economy. And like the rest of the world, we saw a significant drop. See when it goes down there? The constriction, that? In GDP in 2020. That was the pandemic. That was under Donald Trump's watch. But just look at the recovery in the 4 years since.
Okay, MAGA, the red line going up means it's good. But how do we fare against other people that's in the G7, you know, our allies? How did our GDP do against their GDP?
Every country faced similar headwinds and challenges. Last year, our economy grew faster than any other nation in the G7.
Another good one. Okay. Now, I know presidents do not control the stock market, but Donald Trump loves to talk about the stock market. So how did the stock market do under Biden?
4 years ago, Dow plunged, remember that? Recording its worst ever drop in a single day on March 16th, 2020, almost exactly 4 years ago, under President Donald Trump. He was obsessed with the stock market. 4 years later, not only is it back on track, it hit an all-time record high at the end of last month.
In full disclosure, go back and look at that chart, because there was a point in that chart where it started to do good under Trump. And then when Biden took office, it started to do better. And then it took a dip. And now it's back on a recovery. And that's why he said it made a record after those slumps. Let's go back and look at the chart. Okay, let's hit MAGA with jobs. How are people doing with jobs?
Jobs have really bounced back. Labor force participation rate, that's the percentage of people who are in the labor force, really increasing steadily from the COVID era lows, right? It hit lows during the pandemic, and then it goes up.
You want to talk about America First and buying America? How is America First and buying America faring in Biden's administration?
Manufacturing is also booming, thanks to a flurry of Biden-signed legislation. More and more goods being produced in America again, bringing good-paying manufacturing jobs back into the U.S.
And since COVID, a lot of people are getting out and going on vacations. And how is hospitality jobs doing?
Hospitality jobs, in particular, have bounced back after plummeting after the pandemic. We can see from the number of passengers flying on U.S. airlines. This is the summer of 2020, right? In the depths, up to now July 2023.
Now, this is going to be a tricky one because it's talking about wages. And I know a lot of people may not feel like they're getting paid enough. But how are wages doing in the last 3 years under Biden?
Wages are rising faster than inflation. I mean, wages rising in real terms, okay? Workers now make an average of more than $34 an hour. Earnings are outpacing inflation, crucially. That means there is more money in Americans' pockets to spend.
And because a lot of people got more money to spend, they're able to go on more trips, and that's where the hospitality and the airline jobs come in. And you know MAGA love to say that Trump is going to drill, baby, drill. They've been saying that shit for the last 10 years. Well, how much oil have we been producing in America under Biden?
We're producing more of our own energy here in the U.S. Crude oil production, basically no one in America knows this, so listen closely. Crude oil production under Democratic President Joe Biden broke records last year.
And because this country is drilling our own oil in our own soil and making our own oil in America.
Remember this story from a spike at nearly $5 per gallon in the summer of 2022? People going around putting on their Joe Biden stickers on gas pumps saying, I did that. You don't see that so much anymore because we're now down to a little over $3 per gallon. They start up here, they go down there.
At the same time he's drilling in America and lowering gas prices, guess what he's doing to renewable energies?
Renewable power is booming. Renewable power generation is also up amid President Biden's $370 billion investment in clean energy through the Inflation Reduction Act.
And MAGA love to talk about that unemployment rate. What about that unemployment rate? If we're spending more and we got more money in our pockets and gas prices are down and the stock market's up, how are we doing with unemployment?
The unemployment rate has also dropped massively after hitting an unprecedented spike of nearly 15% in 2020, right? The same story in the chart. Bad things happen in 2020, and then they get better after Donald Trump leaves office.
And that wasn't all the charts. There are more charts that are doing way better under Biden than Trump. But let's talk about one last thing, because when it all said and done and MAGA has no more excuses, they go to violent crime. Violent crime is still up, and they always talk about Chicago. What is violent crime doing?
There has been a big decrease in violent crime under President Biden. 2020 was one of the most dangerous years in America in a decade under Donald Trump. Violent crime spiked around the country. It spiked in both urban and rural areas. But in every year of the Biden administration, violent crime has come down.
So, take this. Hell, go to MSNBC and pull that freaking YouTube clip of the whole chart process. But take my video and forward it to your MAGA-loving friends and say, hey, look at what Biden's doing. You are pissed off because you think Trump did better. But look at the charts, and it's color-coded. Red going up means good. Some of the red going down means good too. So you got to be careful with which red you're looking at. But Biden is doing great, and he's doing better than Trump ever could. What do you think?